All right, so in this video, I will be showing you how to determine the component of a vector. But in this case, this is a special case whereby you have the vector in the negative direction. But before I move on, if theta is your angle of inclination, so angle of inclination to the what? To the horizontal, that's x axis, then f subscript what? X is equal to what? Plus or minus f cos what? Theta. And f subscript y is equal to plus or minus what? F sine what? Theta. Now there's a condition. If theta is your angle of inclination to the horizontal, make that clear. Because so now what is the significance of this plus or minus? This plus or minus basically tells us the nature of the direction of that particular vector. And this kind of vector you have when you have an inclination like this. So let me quickly draw something like that. For example, if you have several vectors and you want to resolve it, don't forget that this is positive y, this is negative what? Y, right? Excuse me. This is negative y. Okay, let me scroll up. It's not showing well. So, okay. So I have this to be negative y, okay? This is negative y. So this is positive x, and this is what? Negative x. Before I proceed, let me make something clear. Now, when you have a vector here, okay? Now, let's say this is what? F1. Okay, let me just call it F. Okay, let me put the F1. Let me say you have a vector here too. Let's call this what? F2. And you have a vector here too. Let's call this one F3. And you also have a vector here. Let's call this F4. And each of these, this is theta 1, theta what? 2, theta 3, and theta 4. You notice that I ensure that the angles are inclined to the horizontal. There are cases whereby a question will be given where the angle is inclined to the vertical. So you can actually incline to the horizontal geometrically. How do I mean? For example, if they give you 60 degree here, you will definitely know that the angle of inclination of this vector to the horizontal is 30 degree basically. So now, what brings about this particular condition? Now, if you look at this vector, any vector that you have in this direction, it has component on positive y and positive x. This vector F2 here has component on positive y and negative x. This vector F3 here has component on negative x and negative y. And this vector F4 here has component on negative y and positive x. So for me, since the angle of inclination is to the horizontal is theta, so this formula is valid for all of them. So if I now want to resolve F1, then I can actually create a table whereby we have theta, which is the vector, no, let me say the force rather, which is F, then theta, which is the angle of inclination to the horizontal, then I have F subscript X, and I have what? F subscript what? Y. All right? So that's how I resolve it. So I'll now take each of the vectors. So how many vectors do I have? I have F1, F2, F3, and F4. Okay? So now, since F1, like I said, has component on positive y and positive x, so its x and y component are positive. So instead of me picking negative, it will be positive, positive for both sides. So this one will now be what? F1. This one will now be F1 cos theta 1. And this one will be what? F1 sine what? Theta 1. Right? So this is angle of inclination to the horizontal for this is theta 1. Right? So for F2 has component on positive y and negative x. So the angle of inclination is theta 2. So the x component will now be minus what? F2 cos theta 2. Please pardon me. Let me reduce this. Then for the y component is positive. That is what? F what? 2 sine what? Theta what? 2. Then if you look at F3 has component on negative x and negative y. So angle of inclination to the horizontal is theta 3. So this one will now be minus what? F3 cos theta 3. Then this one will now be minus F3 sine theta 3. So for this other vector, F4 is inclined to the horizontal at theta what? 4. So it has component on negative y and positive x. So the x component is positive. That will be what? That will be F4 what? Cos what? Theta 4. Then the y component is minus F4 sine what? Theta 4. Now, sorry for the clumsiness of this. That's why, okay, you can hear it when I was saying it. All right. So that's the significance of what I have as plus or minus here. Basically, it's just to tell you which direction you are heading to and which sign to pick. So in reality, you are not going to be writing plus or minus. It is the direction that will determine if you have to pick plus and if you have to pick what minus. I want to believe that someone has learned something from this video. And if this video has been a source of help to you, please kindly subscribe to this channel. And if you feel like supporting what we do, please kindly check the description for necessary information on how to go about it. Looking forward to receiving from you. See you in the next video. Thank you.